A young woman crashes her car on a dark, desolate highway in the dead of night. Moments later, she vanishes without a trace. No footprints in the snow, no distress calls, no solid leads, just eerie silence. What happened to Maura Murray? And why has this baffling case tormented investigators and true crime enthusiasts for nearly 2 decades? This is one of those mysteries that lingers in your mind long after you hear it. If you love unraveling chilling disappearances like this, stay tuned. There's plenty more to uncover. 21-year-old Maura Murray, a bright and ambitious nursing student at UMass Amherst, was driving along a remote stretch of Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, when her black Saturn veered off the road and crashed into a snowbank. It was February 9, 2004, a cold, quiet night in a seemingly ordinary small town. A local bus driver, Butch Atwood, stopped and offered help. But Maura, appearing calm but determined, insisted she didn't need assistance. She claimed she had already called for help, though no record of that call was ever found. Atwood, sensing something was off, drove home and called the police. By the time authorities arrived, just 10 minutes later, Maura was gone. No footprints leading into the woods. No signs of struggle. No calls from her phone. Just an abandoned car and eerie silence. Investigators initially believed it was a simple case of a woman running away after an accident. But as they dug deeper, the mystery only grew darker, leading to countless theories, eerie coincidences, and questions that remain unanswered to this day. The day of her disappearance, Maura had been acting strangely. She emailed her professors. It was the evening of February 9, 2004, and 21-year-old Maura Murray was behind the wheel of her 1996 black Saturn sedan, navigating the desolate, winding roads of Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. The sun had long set, leaving only the eerie glow of her headlights slicing through the darkness. Outside, the snow-covered trees stood like silent sentinels, their skeletal branches reaching toward the sky. The air was bitingly cold, the kind that chills you to the bone. Where was she going? No one really knows. What we do know is that Maura had left the University of Massachusetts Amherst just hours earlier, after sending an email to her professors explaining that she would be taking time off due to a family emergency. But there was no emergency, no urgent crisis at home, only unanswered questions. At 7:27 p.m., Maura's car skidded off the road and crashed into a snowbank along a sharp curve on Route 112. The impact wasn't devastating, but the car was undrivable. The airbags had deployed, and the front end had sustained noticeable damage. For a moment, there was only silence, the kind of silence that makes you hyper-aware of every breath, every movement. The road was empty, the surrounding houses sparsely scattered. The snow-covered trees stood tall, blocking visibility from every direction. The only sound was the faint ticking of the engine cooling down. Maura was alone, or so it seemed. Just a few minutes later, a local school bus driver, Butch Atwood, happened to drive past. He noticed the crashed car, its hazard lights blinking in the cold night. Slowing down, he pulled up beside it and saw Maura standing near the vehicle. Something about the scene felt off. Butch rolled down his window and called out, "Are you okay? Do you need me to call for help?" Maura, a petite young woman standing at 5 feet 7 inches with dark brown hair, looked up at him. She seemed shaken but not panicked. With a polite but firm tone, she declined his offer. "No, I've already called AAA." But that was a lie. There were no records of Maura ever making that call. Butch hesitated. The night was freezing, and the nearest gas station was miles away. She had nowhere to go, no one with her. He didn't push. Instead, he drove a short distance to his house, where he called the Haverhill Police Department at 7:42 p.m., reporting the accident. That was only 10 minutes after the crash. But when police arrived at 7:46 p.m., Maura was gone. No footprints, no signs of struggle, just gone. What should have been a straightforward accident investigation turned into one of the most baffling disappearances in American history. The responding officer, Sergeant Cecil Smith, found Maura's abandoned car locked with her wallet, gloves, and personal belongings still inside. Her footprints? Non-existent. Her cell phone? Never used after the crash. No blood, no drag marks, no signs of a struggle. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. The officer scanned the area, shining his flashlight into the darkened woods. Nothing. Just the whispering wind through the trees, the distant hum of the cold night, and the feeling that someone was watching. Where did Maura go? And more importantly, was she alone? By 7:46 p.m., just 10 minutes after Butch Atwood's call, Sergeant Cecil Smith of the Haverhill Police Department pulled up to the crash site on Route 112. His headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating Maura Murray's black Saturn, still lodged in the snowbank. Something was wrong. Maura was nowhere to be found. Smith stepped out of his cruiser, his boots crunching in the fresh snow. The cold night air bit at his face as he shone his flashlight across the scene. The driver's side door was locked. The airbags had deployed. A Coke bottle with red liquid inside sat in the cup holder. But there were no footprints leading away from the vehicle. No signs of struggle. Just emptiness. The silence of the forest felt suffocating. Where had she gone? And was she alone when she left? Clues in the car, a strange discovery. As Sergeant Smith examined the car, he found several items left behind. Maura's wallet, containing cash and credit cards. Her college textbooks and school papers. A bottle of Franzia wine, partially emptied. An email printout regarding a past accident she had at UMass. A notebook filled with handwritten notes. One item stood out, a rag stuffed into the Saturn's tailpipe. Why was it there? When police later questioned Maura's father, Fred Murray, he mentioned something odd. I told Maura, if the car ever starts smoking, she could put a rag in the tailpipe to stop it from getting worse. But that didn't make sense. The rag hadn't been stuffed in after the crash. It was already there before she left UMass. Was Maura trying to keep the car from being noticed? Or was it placed there by someone else? Meanwhile, back at his house, Butch Atwood was waiting. He had expected to hear sirens, see flashing lights. But when he saw only one police cruiser and no sign of Maura, his stomach twisted with unease. He knew she was alone just minutes before. So where was she now? Butch told the police exactly what he saw. That he spoke to Maura at the crash site. That she seemed shaken but determined. And that she had lied about calling AAA. She didn't seem scared. Just off. The police checked the nearby houses, knocked on doors. No one had seen her, except for one person. Around 7:30 p.m., just minutes before Butch Atwood spoke to Maura, a couple who lived near the crash site, Faith and Tim Westman, reported seeing a young woman standing beside the crashed car. The wife, Faith, recalled watching from her window. She was just standing there, almost motionless. Her husband, Tim, added, she didn't wave anyone down. She didn't seem like she was in distress, just waiting. Then suddenly, she was gone. The Westmans never saw anyone approach her. No headlights, no movement in the woods. She just disappeared. Records later revealed that Maura had made a phone call just minutes before her crash. She dialed her boyfriend, Billy Roche. Billy didn't answer. Instead, Maura left a voicemail. Her voice was soft, almost emotionless. Hey, I just wanted to call and check in. I'll talk to you later. Love you. It was the last time anyone heard her voice. The first theories, did Maura leave on her own? At first, investigators assumed Maura had walked away to find help. Maybe she had tried to hitch a ride. Maybe she had wandered into the woods and succumbed to the elements. But search dogs picked up her scent. And then, it vanished in the middle of the road. Not fading, not leading into the woods, just stopping, as if she had been picked up by a passing vehicle. But if that was true, who took her? And why? Theories began spiraling. Did she plan her disappearance? Did she meet with foul play? Or was this a case of something far more sinister? One thing was certain, Maura Murray had vanished. And for the next 2 decades, no one could figure out how. By dawn on February 10, 2004, the small town of Haverhill, New Hampshire had transformed. Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student, daughter, and sister, was gone. The locals had seen missing person cases before, But not like this. No body, no screams, no clear sign of struggle. It was as if the night had swallowed her whole. And the longer investigators searched, the more questions piled up. Because the clues Maura left behind, they didn't just suggest she disappeared. They suggested she was running from something. Or worse, running toward something. By 9 a.m., police had expanded the search radius. K-9 units scoured the area, but Maura's scent vanished 10 feet from her car. Helicopters flew overhead, scanning for movement, but there was nothing. Police interviewed every neighbor, but no one saw where she went. It was as if she had never been there. Still, one thing was clear. If Maura left the scene, she didn't do it alone. The mysterious truck sighting. Just days after Maura's disappearance, a woman who lived near Route 112 called in a tip. She claimed she saw something that still haunted her. A red truck, parked a little ways up from the crash site, just sitting there, no lights on. It was parked near an abandoned house. And when she drove by later that night, it was gone. Was it Maura's escape vehicle? Or was it something much darker? The police never identified the truck's driver. To this day, no one knows who was behind the wheel. As investigators scrambled for leads, Maura's boyfriend, Billy Roche, received a call. It was from a mysterious number. Billy answered, but no one spoke. He could hear breathing on the other end. Then the line went dead. Billy immediately called back. A woman at the Red Cross answered. "We don't know who called you, but this is a shared line. We use it for incoming messages." Billy was certain it was Maura. But if it was her, why didn't she say anything? With no body, no confirmed sightings, and no official suspects, theories exploded online. Some made sense. Others sounded like something straight out of a horror movie. Let's break them down. Theory 1. Maura staged her disappearance. Some believe Maura never planned to return home. Evidence: she withdrew $280 from her bank account, just enough to start fresh. She emailed her professors, saying there was a family emergency. She packed up her dorm, taking sentimental items with her. Her car crash seemed minor, like it was a decoy. Could she have started a new life? If so, where did she go? And more importantly, why hasn't she been found? Theory 2. Maura was abducted by a serial killer. Other theories point to something much more sinister. New Hampshire, especially rural areas like Route 112, has long been connected to unsolved disappearances and murders. Several serial killers were active in the region at the time. One in particular stands out: the Connecticut River Valley Killer. Between 1978 and 1988, a killer stalked young women along rural highways in Vermont and New Hampshire. Victims were traveling alone. They were abducted near their cars. Many bodies were never found. Could Maura have been his final victim? Or was someone else lurking in the woods that night? Theory 3. A local knows more than they're saying. This is where things get chilling. Some online sleuths believe someone in town knows exactly what happened. Reasons why: the police arrived in just 10 minutes. Maura vanished before they got there. Locals saw a suspicious red truck near the scene. Could she have accepted a ride from the wrong person? Or was she forced into a car against her will? If that's true, then the person responsible has been walking free for 20 years. It's been over 2 decades since Maura disappeared. And yet, her case refuses to fade. True crime forums still dissect every clue. Investigators continue following leads. Her family never stopped searching. To this day, Maura's case remains one of the most mysterious disappearances in U.S. history. Because whether she ran, was taken, or something else entirely, Maura Murray left behind a mystery that may never be solved. It's been over 20 years. And yet, for the Murray family, time hasn't moved forward. Maura Murray isn't just a missing person. She's a sister, a daughter, and a friend. And even though she disappeared into the night, her family never stopped searching. Every year, her father, Fred Murray, returns to Route 112. He walks the road. He places missing posters. He speaks to anyone who will listen. Because for Fred, the case isn't cold. Not yet. But what happens when the answers never come? And worse, what happens when the people who are supposed to help stop looking? From the start, some believe police didn't take Maura's case seriously. And now, looking back, the missteps are hard to ignore. The delayed search. When police arrived at 7:46 p.m., they didn't immediately treat it as a missing person case. Instead, they assumed Maura had just walked away. The first official search didn't begin until the next day. That crucial window of time could have been the difference between life and death. Evidence that went missing. The wine bottle found near the car was never properly tested. Key witness interviews were delayed or never recorded. Butch Atwood, the last person to see Maura, was never formally interrogated. Mistakes like these have led some to believe, was this incompetence? Or was it something else? For years, the case stayed frustratingly stagnant. Then, in 2019, a shocking discovery. A local house, just miles from Maura's last known location, was searched after an anonymous tip. The reason? Ground-penetrating radar picked up what looked like human remains. For a moment, hope returned. Could this finally be the answer? Investigators dug into the floor. And what they found? Nothing. No body. No bones. No sign of Maura. Another dead end. But for many, the question remains. Why was a basement so close to the scene flagged in the first place? With each passing year, theories shift. Some fade away. Others gain traction. Let's go over the ones still debated today. Theory 1. Maura fell victim to the wrong person. New suspicion. The local lurker. Some believe Maura was taken by someone who lived nearby. Route 112 is secluded, making it the perfect place for a predator to strike. Multiple locals have criminal records, some with histories of violence. The red truck sighting remains unexplained. If Maura was taken, then that means her abductor might still be walking free. Theory 2. She disappeared on purpose. There's a chilling possibility that Maura never wanted to be found. She had been in trouble before. She seemed to be planning something. The ATM footage showed her withdrawing money. But for what? Could she have escaped into Canada? Did she change her identity? Or was she running from something worse than we realize? Theory 3. A law enforcement cover-up? The darkest theory yet. Some online sleuths believe the truth about Maura is being hidden. Why? The police seemed too quick to dismiss her case. Critical evidence vanished. A former officer had a connection to Maura's past. Could there be something the public was never meant to know? Or is this case just so strange, no explanation feels right? Even after 2 decades, the search for Maura Murray hasn't stopped. In 2021, the FBI officially joined the case. In 2023, new leads emerged regarding an unidentified male DNA sample found near the crash site. In 2024, a team of independent investigators launched a private search, covering new ground. To this day, no remains have been found, no confirmed sightings, no closure. What really happened on Route 112 that night? Who was in the red truck? Did Maura leave willingly, or was she taken? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, if she is still out there, does she even want to be found? What do you think happened to Maura Murray? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one. And if you love unraveling cases like this, make sure you're subscribed. Because the next case, it's even stranger.